Good morning, it's Stacy. We are loving my veteran, and this is walking in my shoes this morning. It is Motivational Monday. Kind of feel like I'm rolling downhill. I'm trying to get, when you're gone for a week and you come home, you're just trying to get yourself reorganized here. So things are a little disshuffled around here, but we'll get on it and do a Motivational Monday. I hope everybody had a great weekend. And enjoyed their weekend with their veteran themselves. Took some time out for you, as always. That is critically important that we do that. So I just want to make sure everyone had a wonderful weekend. We at Loving My Veteran are super excited. We're going to do something. Good morning from Missouri. Sue, you got up early. We're going to do something that we have never done before. We know it is so needed. We are doing a 6-week online program. It is called Boot Camp, Walking in My Shoes Boot Camp for spouses and families of veterans. It will start September 14th. Good morning, Sarah. It will start September the 14th, and it will run for 6 weeks. It's a Tuesday night from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern Time. With this class, it is a free class for anybody who needs it. You'll get a downloadable book, a workbook. You'll interact with other spouses. It will be an amazing time. We're going to learn everything that we wish we would have known at day one. It's kind of our boot camp. Recharge yourself, get whatever you need out of it. But that's what it is. And it is going to start September 14th. However, seating is limited. We have had such an overwhelming response. If you would like to be part of that, please, please, please send us an email at lovingmyveteran@gmail.com, and in the subject line, put boot camp. We're going to take and send out the applications in the order we receive those emails. So if you want in, you need to send that out pretty quick today. So it is Motivational Monday. It is the time of the week that we start the week out getting excited, being happy, moving forward, getting ourselves together with what we have to have done and what we have to get accomplished, because those are all super, super, super important things that we need to do, because it sets our mindset. It sets our tone. Good morning, Stephanie. It sets our tone for the week. Motivational Monday. So I'm going to go back to the old adage. Y'all remember this thing. I remember as a kid, my dad said, well, if mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. Remember, if mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. Don't upset your dad. Don't get your dad mad at you. You guys will regret it if you piss your dad off. I mean, those things, we all heard them, right? And what it was really about was that the tone is set based on someone else's happiness. That tone is set. So if mama's in a bad mood, you're going to have a bad day in that whole house. Right? If mom is in a bad mood, well, Mike is right on this one, Stephanie, you're going to have a bad day in the whole house. Okay? So how do you change that? If daddy is in a bad mood, you're going to have a bad day in that house. If your kid is pitching a tantrum all day, you're going to get at your wit's end and you're going to have a bad day in your house. That is what happens when we deal with not being happy. Okay, well, I can't make you happy and you can't make me happy and nobody can make anybody else happy. It's how we make ourselves happy. So today, we're challenged with, what are the things that make you happy? I don't want to hear not fighting with my veteran. I don't want to hear my daughter not having a meltdown today. I don't want to hear my boss not being a jerk. I want to hear what is one thing you need to do for you that makes you happy. One thing. Now, whether that's leaving work exactly on time so you have a little bit more time for your family, that is awesome. Whether that is really reinforcing a boundary that you have set out there, because remember, our boundaries aren't about rules to anybody else, they're about rules to ourselves. I learned that this week. I spent a week with mom. It was a great week. She's feeling much, much better. But every time I tend to go to my mother's, I tend to feel like I'm 13. She makes me feel like I'm 13. We didn't have that this time. We did not have that this time because I stuck true to my boundaries and became an adult. We disagreed. But you know what? I didn't let her make me feel 13. I could say to her, hey, Mom, didn't even blow up. I took a minute, took a deep breath, and sometimes I walked away and came back a few minutes later. We didn't argue. We just changed the subject and went on, but I went back a few minutes later and I said, hey, do you remember when you said this? Well, this really hurt my feelings. Or this, that. And she did the same with me. But for the first time, I did not feel 13. And I was super happy and I felt victorious when I got back. Because that's what happens. When mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. But you know what? My mom stayed happy, I stayed happy, and everybody was happy. There's your difference. So what are you going to do for you this week to change your tone when it comes to happiness? A lot of times our happiness is based on our external surroundings. Saying that, external surroundings. So if we walk in and we find that the house looks like a tornado struck it, okay? We can go through those moments that the house looks like a tornado struck it, and we just get like, ugh, that's how I am kind of now. Everything is kind of disorganized, and I don't feel comfortable in my space at the present moment. I don't feel comfortable because it's all disorganized. But you know what I did? I didn't start in the top of the house. Yesterday, I went to the closets and I started cleaning them out. Took bags of stuff to Goodwill, went through stuff, organized it. It's all straight. Things are all getting organized. And I'm feeling better going forward. I've learned that that is important to me. I also get overwhelmed when I look at all the dusting sometimes that need to be done. We live down a dirt road, so we get a lot of dust. And you know what? I was talking to Stephanie on the phone one night. And while I was talking to her on the phone one afternoon, I had the dust cloth in my hand and I dusted the entire living room. And the time that Stephanie and I were talking on the phone, I'm like, yes, multitasking, it works. So getting your personal life together is important when it comes to being motivated. What are the motivating factors that are going to get you happy this week? What are you going to accomplish that are going to make you happy this week? Find one. This is where we all tend to make a mistake. We all make this mistake when we decide, I'm going to do this, and this. And we got a list, like the size of your arm list. I write list on my calendar. I write list on the back of envelopes. I write list everything. Good morning, Ashley. I write list on everything. And when I don't accomplish what's on my list, then I get all funky and I feel depressed. I'm not doing that anymore. I am doing things and manageable things I can handle. I might have a to-do list of things we eventually need to do, but I am prioritizing my list one or two things. One or two things. When those one or two things get done, then guess what? I can add more to them. I can move stuff up on that list. And when you do that, you're not overwhelmed by your list and you're not feeling like you're not accomplishing anything, so you don't feel yourself as a failure, because that's where misery comes from. When we feel we've let somebody down, when we feel like we're failing at our job, when we feel like we're failing as a spouse, when we feel like we're failing as a mother, when we feel like we're failing as a friend, that's where this funk we're in comes from, and it's overwhelming. So stop. Today we're throwing all that crap out and we're starting. Make a list of things you got to do. Deal with the things you have to do. I mean, there's some things you got to do. Stephanie, God love you. I don't know how you keep your schedule. Soccer field. God knows I love you. But on the days the girls have to go to soccer, that is a priority for her. So she might only be able to get one or two other things off the list. That may be the next thing that happens for her. But you know what? It doesn't make her a failure. It makes her a success because you accomplished something. And when you start thinking in your mindset that you are a success, it's okay, because nobody else's opinion matters. And it's really tough when we have our veteran who's in a funk, right? And our veteran can be in a funk. I know, the whiteboard calendar girlfriend, I'm all about it. Our veteran can be in a funk right? And then we get in a funk because we feed off of that, and the negativity and all this stuff starts playing around. Or he may say something that upsets you, or a tone that doesn't work good. And next thing we know, we're all in a funk, and we're all mad, and we're all angry, and nobody feels like we can accomplish anything. And how are we getting anything done? We're not. And so what happens to us in our motivation? We have none. Because we're like, you know what? If I'm never going to satisfy you, why try? If I'm never going to be good enough, why try? If I'm never going to get this accomplished, then why do it? That's what happens. That's the way things happen in our mind. And that the only person who can change that is us. My veteran can't change the way I feel about things. He can't change the way I see the world. I can. And that was a hard thing to swallow. You know, I was one of these people who gave and gave and gave and gave and gave and gave and defended and defended and defended everybody and helped everybody. And then all of a sudden I took a big step back and I said, no, 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 no. I have to become important because the only person who controls my destiny is me. The only person who controls my feelings is me. The only person who can determine whether or not I'm happy is me. That's it. That's it. Nobody else. And that was a hard thing to swallow. You know, we all took personality tests, and there's a link I think that we put out, and we'll share it again. That personality test was so interesting. We all took personality tests this weekend, and it was funny because I would have thought that I would have been way more the defender type personality where I defend people, and it's not. I am the consultant. I'm the person you consult during turmoil. That is literally what it says. Consult turmoil. Stephanie, Michelle, and Melissa are all defenders. And I'm like, wait, but I want to be a defender too. And Michelle's like, but no, you need to be the consultant during the turmoil. Because it's just interesting. And that plays a role. You don't realize what a role that plays when you look at, because this is not like the type A, type B personality. This brings out 16 of them. And what it does is it really does tell you where your strengths and your weaknesses are. And not necessarily that you need to change them, just that your mindset, the way you think and the way you process things and the way you deal with things, what are you stronger at than something else? Look, I am not philosophical. It says that. My test result says philosophical, 0. Scientific desire, 0. Like I was telling Michelle today, I don't really care how the TV works. I want you to push the button and I want it to go on. I want to push the button and I want it to go on. I want to push the button and I want it to come on. I am a little excited that the TV's not a big box anymore and that I can pick it up by myself. Okay, that's important to me. How the heck they made all that happen doesn't matter to me. And I found that when, now Carl, he's opposite. He wants to know the details. Not me. Don't care. When you look at those personalities and you look at what your strengths are, and you look at your strengths, your personal strengths, then you know what you're working with. And it's amazing because we all have them. And you're right, Sarah. No one else cares that you're not happy. They're worrying about their happiness. Well, you know what? If they're worrying about yours, it's theirs. It's time you get up and worry about yours. Nobody gonna make you happy. But that personality test was mind-boggling. It was eye-opening, actually. It was like, hey, you know, these are your strengths and this is what you're not good at. So why am I going to bother to do what I'm not good at? Let me just do what I'm good at, and I'll let somebody else who's good at what I'm not good at do that. And I was like, yeah, I can do this. And it wasn't one of these things like, oh, you're going to be a failure forever. I've taken those like management class ones. You know, when we were at work, we took all of us managers took manager classes. It was like, oh, you're going to be a great manager, or you need to go back and like pick up cans on the side of the road because you're never going to manage. And that was like so humiliating. Well, this isn't like this. This tells you your strengths because every one of us has strengths. And all of our strengths are different. All of our strengths are different. All of our weaknesses are different. And when you learn to work within your strengths and your weaknesses, and you learn to get your mind wrapped around your strengths and your weaknesses, happiness will come. because the only person who controls our happiness is us. That's your motivation. What is the one thing that's going to make you happy this week? What are you going to do to change your mindset this week? What are you going to do to get out of your funk this week? There's nothing wrong with being in a funk. We have to be in them every now and then. You can't stay there. You can't stay there. You got to pull yourself up and you got to move forward. And that's what you've got to understand, that we are accountable for us. And when we learn to be accountable for us and we learn what our strengths and our weaknesses are, then guess what that happens with us? We learn how to put them to use in a situation when it comes to everybody. Our veteran, our children, our boss, our friends. When you learn what your strengths and weaknesses are, literally, I mean, and it's funny because we joked it. It really kind of hurt his feelings in the beginning. I told Carl, I said, I don't want you to design the website. Now, I understand this is what he did for a little. I'm like, I don't want you to design the website. It's like, why? I don't want to know about the code. Okay? I want to push the button. I want this stuff to go when I push the blue button. That's all I care about. That's all I need. Okay? Oh, look at you. Stephanie, that don't really sound good. You're going to work from your bed. Okay. You and Nikki have been talking again? Because I'm not quite sure. I'm not asking. But I just want to push the button, okay? I don't care how it gets there. I'm just the person who wants to fix the button, push the button. He's the person who wants to explain it all to me. You know what? I don't need the explanation. I need to push the blue button. But if we know our personalities are that different when it comes to that, maybe I have to give a little and I have to listen to a little bit of it. Just like when I sugarcoat things, he has to shush and listen to a little bit of it too. Because that's the way we work. That's the way our personalities work together, because we do have differences. And here's the other thing you're going to find. Here's the other thing you're going to find. When you do these personality tests, you're going to find you have a lot of similarities. And so when you find the similarities, guess what that automatically becomes? That becomes your common ground. You're like, oh, my veteran and I have grown so far away from each other. We can't do anything because we're so far apart. Look, you've got some similarity. Somewhere those colors overlap. And when those colors overlap, those become your similarities. And that becomes your common ground. See, your happiness is not based on somebody else. But when you find common ground, guess what happens now? That is one area of conflict you can take completely out of the mix. And I don't know about y'all, but if I can take conflict out of the mix, I'm happier. That's the way it works. I'm happier. So if you can avoid conflict by knowing your common ground and knowing your strengths and your weaknesses and acknowledging them and learning to live within them, you now all of a sudden have control because you know why. You know why. There's certain things I'm never going to do in my life. Never going to do in my life. I will never, ever, ever jump out of a perfectly good airplane. Well, unless, the pilot on the big commercial one says so. I'm never going to do that. I don't need to do that. That is not a desire I ever have. So I don't even have to be good at it because I know I'm not going to ever do it. So why worry about being good at it? Because I'm never going to do it. So I'm good with that. And that's one of the things that I just have to let go. People are like, oh, well, you should try that. No, I shouldn't. I don't have to. I wanted to wakeboard forever. I love to watch him wakeboard. My nephew Luke is wakeboarders, and he's like been 4, and he's really good at it. My mom lives on lake where one of the world champion wakeboarders lives and has a school there, so we get to watch it all the time. And I watch these guys do these flips, and I'm like, cool, I'm going to do this. Right? Well, that was hysterical. Cool, I was a whole lot bigger, and I didn't have the upper body strength, and I have zero coordination when it comes to that, and zero balance. So can you imagine me, my mom paid for these lessons years ago, getting pulled across the lake with the wakeboard up in the air, my hands like this, I'm drowning, the wave of water is coming, right? And I'm going to try to wakeboard, and look, I don't want to just get up on the wakeboard. If I'm on a wakeboard, I want to do the flips like the world champion does, okay? I'm going to do, you're welcome, Heather. I'm going to do the flips like the world champion does, right? That's the way I'm going to do it. And I cried because I just couldn't do it. And then I've tried it again after I've lost some weight. And I'm like, I can do this. Nope. Board's still up in the air, water's still over my head, I'm drowning. And finally I just had to say, you know what? This is not your strength. It's never going to be your strength. You're never going to be good at this. So let's watch somebody else be really good at it and enjoy what they can do, because you're not going to be that person. And when I learned to let that go, I'm not sad that I can't wakeboard anymore. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. And that was the thing, you have to get by, because we don't have to meet somebody else's expectation. So my nephew rode around on the lake. So my niece, so excited that she got up. They rode around. So what if I can't wakeboard? Who cares? And that had to be the thing. My happiness was not going to be based on somebody else's opinion. It was on me. So I don't know, I'm not really sure that I know anybody who would like this. But imagine, really, you got the wakeboard, it's so long and so wide, and it's sitting out in front of you, and so your knees are all bent up, and you're all squished up in a ball that you don't need to be, like the fetal position. And I'm telling you, a grown 50-some-year-old woman should never go back into that fetal position thing in the water, holding onto a tow rope, with the water coming over the top, your head drowning, you getting water up in places the water don't need to be, and you do that for a half an hour. Where did I find happiness in that? Nowhere. Okay, so after like 5 minutes, I should have said, I'm done. Let my niece finish out my extra class time hours, because I'm done. There's no way I'm ever going to do this. And I'm not happy trying anymore. See, I wasn't happy. I knew I couldn't do it. And so we do that, though. We tend to do things that we know are never going to make us happy, but we do them anyway. It's like going to a restaurant and you know you really don't like this food, and they're like, oh, but you know you love it, and you try to eat it anyway. Right? My Nana used to fix my daddy, green beans. Okay, he was her own kid. And his whole life, he never liked a green bean. And she'd always fix them, and she'd go, but little Lucas, I fix green beans. They're your favorite, and I know you love them. And he didn't want to hurt her feelings, right? And he didn't say nothing about it. He just didn't eat the green beans. She wasn't paying no attention. He might have gotten one or two and squished them around his plate so it looked like he was eating them, because she never paid attention. And then it was much later when she said that, and he goes, Mama, I don't like green beans. I've never liked green beans. And she said, kind of deflated, why didn't you tell me that? I never would have fixed them for you if I knew you really didn't like them. So what I'm going to is, why do we do things because we think somebody else is going to like them? Why don't we tell people, no, I don't like this? Why can't we tell people, no, this doesn't make me happy? Why can we not do that? We can do that, and we need to do that, and we have to do that, or else we're going to stay in our misery, and we're never going to be happy, and we're not going to find any other motivation in life, because negativity, unhappy, misery, rolling in it, wallowing in it is something at the end of the day we choose. At the end of the day, we choose that mindset. Be happy, don't be happy. I don't give a shit. And you know what? When I started getting that attitude with my veteran, I do give a shit and I do love him. But I had to get past that and say, I'm in a spot today. I'm sorry you're in a spot today. Is there anything I can do to help you? No. Okay. And I'd ask him again, is there anything I can do to help you? No. I'm just going to be there. Okay, well, you enjoy that. I'm going to go do something else. And I was there for him. And I was there for him. And I was there if he needed me. And I wasn't trying to belittle him. But I'm not going to... The fact that he's in a spot that he can't get out of isn't my fault, and it's not something I can fix. And so I had to learn how to step away and let him deal with it, because it was almost like an invasion of his space when I would keep combing into that place in his head. When he needs to talk to me, he knows I'm there, and I let him know I'm there, and he does talk to me. That's how we started to communicate about some of those deep things. You know what, so you're right. People can't handle it because saying no is negative to some, but at the end of the day, who do you have to make happy? You. I don't help it if you can't handle no, too bad. You don't want to like me because I say no, and I'm respecting my boundaries, too bad. You don't like the fact that I'm going to say I can't do this today because I'm really busy? Too bad. I mean, I know that there's people that will message me or call me all hours of the day and night, and we put hours up finally because I need to spend time, one for me and two for Carl. I mean, that's just something that has to happen. And I stopped answering them on the weekends. And I stopped answering them after a certain amount of time. And I'm sorry if that offends somebody. Now there are a few people I talk to that are friends outside of this, but I'm sorry if that offends somebody. But I have to take care of me first. Because if I can't take care of me first, and I'm not happy first, and I'm not in a good place first, it's never going to go over to my veteran that I'm happy and I'm in a good place. If I'm not happy and I'm not in a good place, he's not going to be happy and he's not going to be in a good place. Okay, so see this downhole full circle, and then the whole world gets this way, and then everything gets icky, and that's the way it works. So when you stop doing that and you say, I have to do this to make me happy, this is what I need to do. And I'm not talking about things, we're not talking about going out and spending money or turning into a shopaholic or doing any of those things, but I'm talking about setting boundaries for yourself, because boundaries aren't for anybody else, they are for yourself. When you set these boundaries, because things that are in your bubble should make you happy, and you are accountable for your own happiness, not your veteran, not your mother, not your dog, not the credit card. Nothing else is accountable for your happiness but you. You have to realize that. And when you learn that, you will find that happiness spreads. Because if he's in a funk, and then you're getting a funk because he's in a funk, you got a big old pile of poo-poo. You get a big old pile of poo-poo. And you're never going to learn to get out of it if you stay in the funk. And I'm not talking about physically walking out. I'm talking about learning to mentally get out of this situation. Not we create it. It is created because we all, them, us, everybody, allow it to happen. When people talk about setting boundaries, they think that setting boundaries means you can't do this and you can't do that and you're not going to do this and I'm not going to No, that's not what it means. It means this is my bubble, this is my safe space, and whatever you do is really kind of on you, but you're not bringing that into my safe space. Because you can't control anybody else. Do you want people controlling you? Do you want people telling you how you have to feel? Do you want people telling you that you've got to be happy? Do you want people telling you to snap out of it? Right? Exactly. There you go. Now that I'm happy, I've noticed that spending money isn't fun anymore, and I wake up seeing what I can accomplish in my day to make me happy. But to be productive as well. Exactly. Although I will say that I've been on a little spending spree lately, but it's all going to make me happy. And there's the key. The key is whether or not you choose this level of happiness. Heather, you're proof. The money, the spending doesn't make you happy. Tell me that getting up and seeing what you can accomplish in a day to make yourself happy, tell me that has not been much more rewarding at the end of the day than shopping. Although I will say this. Y'all don't think I've lost my mind. I am 54 years old. I don't mind putting out there I'm 54. I show it, I know, but it's okay. I'm 54 years old, and for the very first time in my 54-year-old life, I used the Walmart app to go shopping, and I'm going to go pick up my groceries today. I am so flippin' excited because now they've opened up like the whole store, so it's not just groceries I can pick up. I'm like, ooh, this looks good. Let me get this, and I need this. It was so much fun. I am so excited. But what made me more excited about that dumb little app is I don't have to fight the people in Walmart. And by the way, when I go in Walmart, I don't care what line I get in. It can be the shortest line, but it will inevitably be the slowest line. at Walmart. If I'm the only person that goes to that line, like the woman's cash register is going to break. I mean, that's where I'm going to be. Okay, that's what's going to happen. So I don't have to deal with that. I don't have to walk up and down aisles. I don't have to worry about my veteran being in a tiz when we're in the Walmart, right? I buy exactly what I want and nothing else. I'm not toting the stuff and putting it from the shelf into my buggy, in the buggy, pushing it around the store, getting heavier and heavier, taking it to the checkout, putting it up there, second guessing whether I really need it or not, or is there something else I want besides that, not having to do all that, not having to take it from the buggy after I have rang it up myself and after I have loaded it myself back in the car, right? And I had to do that and now put it in the car and then bring it home and tote it. No, I just got to have the back seat of the truck unlocked. I am so excited. I can't wait. And then we just put it up. That is like so exciting to me. That's going to make me happy. But it wasn't just that. It was the amount of time that I saved in my day because time is valuable to me. Time is something that is valuable to me. And look at it this way. That hour that I'm at Walmart, I could go get a pedicure and spend the same amount of time. See, it all plays out. I'm not going to today, but it all plays out. Finding your happiness is on you. That's our Motivational Monday. That's your motivation. Find your happiness. Your happiness doesn't come from anybody else. It comes from you. Get motivated today to find your happiness. Find your happiness. I still live 40 miles from Walmart. I mean, that's the closest grocery store we have, so I go there anyway. Find your happiness this week. Do something for you this week. Do something for your veteran this week. And do something for someone else this week. That needs to become your motivation. That will keep you motivated to having an incredible week and staying productive and totally staying productive. I will remind everybody one more time. Boot camp, 6 weeks, free, online, Zoom, class. Will be 6 weeks, starts September 14th. You will get the book, the downloadable book, the workbook, course material. It will be very interactive. This is a class. It is a course. You need to be committed to this course. There will be some pre-work that you need to do. There will be some homework that you're asked to do. It's the only way you're going to get out of it what you need to. And we have had so much interest that seating is limited. I have only put it out to our Loving My Veteran community right now. It will start going out to other communities later today. Email us lovingmyveteran@gmail.com. In the subject line, please put boot camp. Put your information so we can get the applications to you. We'll get applications to you. Once your application is back, we will send out a course syllabus. All of that stuff will be there. And as the course gets closer, of course, you'll get a copy of the book to start looking at it earlier. There's handouts, there's flyers, there's resources, everything to help you get started. Boot camp, you can call it a refresher, whatever you need to work through the Loving My Veteran. That's what it's about. So I'm Stacy. I'm going to pop off of here. This has been Loving My Veteran, walking in my shoes. Y'all have a blessed day. Take care and stay motivated. Bye.